Hello everyone and welcome back to Babs Hockey. On the last video here of talking about the principles of functional movement, I'm going to talk about contralateral reciprocation. Sounds like a very big word, but essentially what that means is the connection between my right arm, left leg. So when I move my left leg forward, my right arm should come, and then when I want to move my left leg forward, when I want to move my right leg forward, I rotate and switch and my left arm would come. So again, essentially that's how, like when you're walking, running, or when you're throwing, essentially when you see a baseball player load up and when he finishes through, like a right-handed thrower, and he pitches through and he slings over, he's going to have this right arm connected to his left leg, and vice versa. If he's a left-handed thrower, it'd be connecting to his right leg. And so it's really important that your training works around this principle. It's really important that when you're doing rows, any type of presses, you want to be working in a contralateral fashion as a priority. And so that's essentially like in that unilateral lunge position, anything where you're building that connection. I've talked about the fascial lines already during my tensegrity video and several other videos. And again, there's so many of them. You got the front line, you have the deep line, you have the back line, you have the lateral line, you have the arm line, again, posterior, anterior. You have your anterior oblique sling and your posterior oblique sling. All these fascial lines. You want to learn more about them, look up Anatomy Trains by Thomas Myers. He has a full book laid out on that. It's got a lot of visuals, a lot of pictures. It has a lot of very deep analysis on these types of lines. He has lots of work on cadavers, and again, it's very informative, a lot of knowledge. It's a real thick textbook. You see it used in a lot of physiotherapists, chiropractors. They use it as a template for their learning as well. And well, I believe so. I have a friend who knows a lot about the Anatomy Trains from their training. And so just to illustrate it here, I'm going to step back here and use this. I'm going to use this band, and so anyone else can use it to try and really get that feeling. So I'm going to put it right around my right arm, and then I'm going to go right behind my left leg and connect it to the bottom of my foot. And again here, so I'm going to illustrate the connection between my right shoulder right here, right shoulder, right pec, right oblique, and then it comes straight across into my interior left oblique right here. That so as this hip flexor TFL works right into this groin, adductor area. So again, when I'm stepping forward, I've fully lengthened this sling, and so when I'm stepped forward with my right leg, and then when I want to bring my left leg forward, watch as soon as I bring this right arm forward, this band's going to pull it right through. So when you move in a connected fashion, you can start using something called an elastic potential. And when you really stretch that sling and you're connected in this way, you can start using that elastic energy as free energy to push yourself forward. So hopefully that gives you a good illustration of that front sling and essentially how your body works. And now just try to imagine that your body's made up of all these different pulley systems. So you have one here, you have the same thing on your back, you have a front one, you have a deep core one, you have a lateral one. So you have all these lines trying to work together in cohesion. And again, all of it follows and respects the concept of contralateral reciprocation. Okay, that concept, that principle where your right arm is connected to the opposite leg and vice versa. And so really working this principle, making sure that your training is prioritized around this principle is absolutely critical for you to become functional. If you really want to become a functional mover, you have to respect this principle. And essentially when again, I'm not trying to badmouth squats, because squatting is fine. Again, and I'm not talking about squatting with a bar on your back or in the front. I'm talking about just if you're doing general working on the squatting motion, you can work on that, and that's good. When you put a bar on your back, there's a lot of other issues that go on with that. I'll discuss that at another time. But the problem is, if you just work on squatting, your feet are together, your chest is up, and there's no working the connection between working these lines. You're just in isolation working on that eccentric on the glutes, and then sitting down into that squatting position, getting nice and low regardless of what you're trying to do, having your chest up, and none of that is respecting this principle of contralateral reciprocation. So it shows that squatting shouldn't be your priority. It should be, again, something that you do put into your training, but it in no way should be something that you do consistently. Like it's something that you just throw in. It's something you throw in there, something you work on, but the main priority should be on movements that respect this principle of contralateral reciprocation. And it goes back to the evolutionary movements that I talked about, like walking, running, and throwing. And so all those that respect this principle, and again, it's working on those connections that pull the three pillars together that I talked about. The T-spine, the TVA, the glutes all have to work in conjunction with this pulley system. And again, respecting the principle of contralateral reciprocation. Hopefully this was very insightful and you're able to understand this principle. If you have any questions, I'm very open for discussion. I'd like to talk more about it. I'd like to hear what your thoughts are. Drop a comment or DM me. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Check out my website when you get a chance for some more information. And I look forward to helping you get to the next level.